Well, hey, everybody, this is Pastor Bert. I hope you are happy where you are. You're joining me from beautiful Waikiki Beach. We've spared no expense, kind of taking care of you are here because it is about the journey, right? And so I don't know if you can hear them in the background, but there is a luau kind of beginning, and beautiful grass skirt wearing people are getting ready. I might join them. I don't know. Maybe this could be a first. Anyway, I am looking forward to being with you, and you and it is so good to be with you. And of course, I moved a little bit further down the beach so that you wouldn't hear so much and be so jealous. But boy, you can smell that pig cooking. Oh, it's just lovely. Anyway, welcome to You Are Here. This is kind of an experimental sort of Lenten journey, and I'm glad that we have this time together. You know, we are working our way through a series called The Walk. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong camera. You know, I told you experimental, and it's live. So there's no reshoots or no should have said that or anything like that. You're kind of stuck with what you have, and we have lots of folks who are with us online, and just I can't quite figure out how to put you on the screen, or at least your comments on the screen. I'll figure that out. But the comments that you put into the comment line wherever you're watching this on Facebook Live or on YouTube, I can see those. And it's a great way for us to kind of be in interaction with each other. So let me ask you, since we are kind of starting this together, why don't you drop a note in the comment line? Let me know who you are and where you're watching from. And I would love to see that as it comes through. And there's Sarah. Good evening, Sarah. And I know you're in Virginia, Sarah, unlike beautiful Waikiki Beach. But I'm sure there's some others that are coming in. Now, I am really excited to kind of be back in this way. Hey, Heather, good to see you. I used to do this. Sharon's good to see you. I used to broadcast worship service like this in my previous parish during those good old days of COVID, and when everything was rocking. And I am so glad to not be broadcasting in this way under these circumstances. But we were in a place of I was wanting to kind of give you some information, kind of help you out, and teach a little bit, and wanted to do that, but also looked at the calendar and realized that there was some challenges in everyone's schedule as we looked at what was possible. So thought we would drag this out and see how it goes together. And so it's great to see you, Sandra and Joan and Sharon again. There you are. And Katie, good to see you, Katie. So welcome, everyone. And I am hopeful that you'll find this to be helpful. And there's prizes. So, I will tell you about that a little bit later on. Don't let me forget. So, if I start kind of like getting lost in something, you got to bring me back to the prizes. Um, and we will see how all of that goes. Well, listen, we have been working our way through a series that we have kind of borrowed a little bit from a series that was originally offered by Adam Hamilton and the folks at the United Methodist Church of the Resurrection. They make materials like this available for folks, for churches to do that. And honestly, I've been looking and worked with this material for a few years and just love, really am thankful for the way in which it gives us a good basic framework for us to answer the question, how is it that I'm supposed to live as a Christian? What is it that, uh, what does this look like? I know that as I became a Christian earlier in my life, and then as I kind of returned to the faith, there were things that I knew that I needed to do and felt called to do, but it really wasn't always clear, and um, it was hard sometimes to uh, see the people around me and wonder, is that how I'm supposed to behave? And is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And so, like a lot of people, I kind of cobbled it together from watching people. But, when I became a United Methodist, one of the things that I was asked to do was to make a statement of faith. I didn't have to kind of write it out myself, but I did have to answer some historic questions about, do you believe in God the Father? Do you repent of your sin? Do you kind of let some things go? And then also there was this kind of wonderful section that asked me, and I'm standing in front of my new United Methodist Church. I'm kind of coming from the Baptist Church into the United Methodist Church, and I was asked, "Will you be faithful to the church through your prayers, your presence, your gifts, and your service?" And those were the four big things. Later on, the church added the idea of witness. And so those were, like, for me, really helpful. Prayers, pray, show up, give, serve, and as the church later on added, to tell people, to share with people about the good news of Christ and the wonderful things that are happening in my local church through Christ. So I love that, but as time has gone on, those words seem, well, confusing to some folks, even to me sometimes. What does it mean to pray, for example? Well, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about that, and what is it that is happening as we pray and as we go through things. So I have some notes here about stuff that I want to talk about, but I also am kind of just sort of standing on my feet and talking, and so I appreciate your patience with me as I kind of let things go like that. You get some of that on worship, in worship on Sunday with my sermons. Sometimes well, often, most time, I know where I'm going and what I'm going to say, but there are things that come to me that need to be said or, kind of work their way through. So you get a little bit of mixture of that with me. And I love how you have been faithful and generous with me about that. First of all, want to make sure that you can hear me. If you can hear me clearly and beautifully, and you want to, let me know in the comment line that I'm coming through loud and clear and that I look good. Now, I know I need a haircut. You don't have to, like, tell me that you're looking kind of rough, Bert, but it's okay if you're just let me know that you can hear me okay. The board says that I am coming through, but I want to make sure that you can do that. No one is helping me out here. Maybe you can't hear me. I don't know. Well, um, hopefully. Yes, beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. All right, so here's the deal. I thank you all so much. It takes maybe a second or two. I'm going to have to get used to a little bit of time delay, but thank you. So, I want you to be thinking about, questions that you have about your prayer life. Maybe you'll feel comfortable later on, kind of asking something about that in the chat, and I can stagger into an answer, try to address those to you. Or if you think of something later and you want to kind of drop me a line I'm very happy to talk about prayer anytime, anywhere. You know, prayer is such a special thing. It's really a gift and a privilege to be able to talk to God. I remember being a young man. Yes, I remember being a young man and being asked to pray at Thanksgiving. Maybe you have had that kind of moment as well. And I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh gosh, okay. And I got the giggles. I surely did. You know, that kind of uncontrollable, like, I'm really nervous. I do not know what to do. And so I started snickering and I did everything I could to kind of pull myself back together. But it just started rolling, and my wife was sitting next to me, and she was feeling bad for me, but she she got the giggles too. And you know, I sort of like made my way through it and was pretty embarrassed by it for the rest of the day. But in that moment, I was also, you know, with my family, and they were working with me. You know, my brother got the giggles too, and we just kind of all went went on with our day. So there's this anxiety sometimes, or there is you know, this um, concern about what is it that I'm doing, and am I doing it right? When I pray, am I saying the right words? Am I using quite the same language that I would, you know, just talking to people, or should I really sort of dial it up, like you hear some people do? My preacher, when I was a boy, the preacher of my church, he was great, and he you know, he was one of those full bodied prayers, and he would lay it on big, and it was so beautiful. But the language, because it was big and beautiful, but also kind of distant from what I normally do. There were these and thous in there, and I, you know, I'm just wondering, what is it that I'm really supposed to do? So I learned as I got past and over my Thanksgiving embarrassment and started hanging out with people who were praying, and not just preachers, you know, people that were, you know, just good lovers of Jesus. And like, I had this wonderful Sunday school teacher who was maybe one of the most earnest, one of the most sincere people. And he would pray, but he would pray like you would just kind of sitting across from a friend, and giving thanks to God, and you know, kind of calling out things that he needed to let go of, and you know, asking God and inviting God to take control over things. But you know, it was not in some sort of spectacular language. It was like we're talking. And so that has always been my guide. Sometimes there is a need for language that I have had to kind of think carefully about. Sometimes it's not because I don't want to make God mad. God already knows. God already knows. But I just want to love God with language. I actually am a kind of a word nerd and do enjoy a good turn of phrase. And if that kind of comes out as I'm talking to God, that's great. That's probably God kind of doing something inside of me. So the first thing I just wanted to invite you to is to deal with God the way you would somebody with somebody that you had a relationship with, that you were kind of intimate with, that you could say the things that you could say, the things that you need to say. Those are the good friends. Those are the ones who love us to hear us, that see us as we are not what they want or need or how things are going with the time, but you know, see us and know us and love us. And what I've experienced about God and come to understand, that's what we have. Now, a couple weeks ago, a couple Sundays ago, rather, we began this series called The Walk. And it talks about those basic practices that I was mentioning to you before. And the first, the first set of practices that we came to was worship. And we talked about worship and some of the dynamics that surround that. I hope that you maybe have been looking at some of the material that we made available through Amplify Media, or looking at the book, The Walk by Adam Hamilton, and maybe some of the other material that's available. I really hope that that's been helpful to you. We have a lot of that available to you. And on that first Sunday, we talked about worship, but we also kind of snuck a little bit, and I didn't sneak, but kind of, uh, you know, held in balance the public worship with our prayer life, our private worship, and really the kinds of things that we are doing in our worship life. Praising God, encountering God, um, opening ourselves to God. Those are the same kinds of things that we do in our private devotional life, our private prayer life, and even if we're kind of praying with small groups. So it is done at scale, okay, and sometimes scale helps. So sometimes there's this beautiful thing of being in prayer with lots of people, and holding the same intention and heart's desire, all that in front of each other and in front of God. But also, when you are at home in your chair, maybe by your bed and on your knees, you can find some of those same dynamics. And so I wanted to just kind of offer just a reminder about that, that Adam Hamilton offers in his book. I'm not going to read the whole book for you, but Adam says our daily personal worship. Let me put my glasses on so I can see things. Our daily personal worship is composed of both our prayers and our actions. In our prayers, we praise, we confess, we petition God for help, and we give thanks. All of those are important. But for those who are just starting to pray, I tell them the most essential dimension of prayer and worship is captured in just two words. Two words. Thank you. Gracias, right? I think, well, let me just keep going. In giving thanks, we are recognizing that our life is a gift, and that this world is a gift, and the air we breathe is a gift. Daily worship and expressions of thankfulness shape us to become people whose hearts are defined by gratitude. The whole idea of gratitude, of being thankful for what is in front of us, what we possess, what we have been given, really roots us in the life. I mean, I remember early on encountering a Black preacher who, in Sunday morning worship, got up and said, "You did not have to. You did not have to wake me up this morning, but you did. You might hear me use that language in my own prayers with you in worship. You did not have to provide all those things that I ate and how I got dressed and made it to church and made it to the next thing in the day. You didn't have to give me any of that, but you did. You did not have to give me the air that I am breathing, but you did. Now, one of the things about gratitude is that it helps us to have some clarity of thought about who we are and what's really going on. There is a really good body of evidence suggesting that there is a power, there's a psychological power to being grateful, and that gratitude makes a difference in how we are understanding ourselves and understanding the people around us and the rest of the world. Um, a a trend inside of journals in these last few years has been to include a little section, either in the morning or in the evening, just to kind of like jot those things down that we're thankful for. And if you don't do that, or if you've ever thought like, oh, what is this all about? I would really want to encourage you just to make a practice of that. Try it for a week. Just try it. Take a moment or two and write down what it is that you have found to be a gift in your life, even for that day. If you have a moment now, might be a good time to kind of just jot down some of those things that you're grateful for now. If you want to put those in the comment line, that would be wonderful to see. And that's true for people who are on both the Facebook Live and YouTube. If you want to just kind of share, you don't have to, but if you want to share those things that you are grateful for, or maybe the people that you are grateful for, that would be a great thing. And I look forward to seeing those in a moment. Now, Anne Lamott, who is one of my favorite writers, oh my gosh, Anne Lamott is amazing, a little spicy. So, if you read some Anne Lamott, you're going to hear pretty raw Anne Lamott. But I absolutely adore her. And she's a Presbyterian. You got to love the Presbyterians, but she's also a very faithful lover of Jesus. And Anne has a nice set of essays about prayer and what a life of prayer would be like. And the title of the set of essays is Help, Wow, and Thanks. And when I am stripped down to my most basic, and I can barely string a sentence together, those are the things that I find, those three things help me, and thank you, and oh my goodness, wow. That is so fundamental to the experience of being a creature created by God, and being in that kind of relational connection. Those words make a fundamental statement in and of themselves, and it's not elaborate or fancy in any way. When I get up in the morning, sorry about that. When I get up in the morning, and I'm with it, and I'm thinking like, okay, I've got things to do, and there's biology things to take care of course, but when I plant my feet on the floor and I'm worried, or I'm concerned about those things that I have in front of me, the first thing I do is I say thank you. And I will sometimes make the list. I thank you for my wife who is next to me. I thank you for this bed, for this new day. I thank you for all these things. And then I will say, help me. Because there will be things that I'll be worried about or things that I'm looking forward to and things I'm kind of like needing to sort of check my own ego about or, um, all kinds of things. So thank you. Help me. And then, sorry, when I hop into the car or when I turn around and I look at beautiful Waikiki Beach here, I cannot help but be reminded of the incredible creation. When I look at in my kids' eyes, cannot help but be overwhelmed by understanding what a remarkable person all three of them have become. So, help, wow, and thank you are commendable. I recommend the whole book to you, actually. It's a slender little book. It's really, really good. But those three ideas, those three notions, those are helpful just to root our prayer life. All right. So, Joan says that she's grateful for another day. Sharon is grateful for the lessons of the pandemic and all the new languages it taught us to speak that allow us to be in spaces like this. Katie says, my cats, it's my family, my home, and my cats. And Don and Donna say it's the Sterling family. Sandra says her family, health, and home. So lots of you have just beautiful, beautiful things that you're thankful for. Write those things down. Open that conversation up with God in this way. Now, there are some, hey, Sarah. Sarah says sharing life's ups and downs with family and friends. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's part of the power of prayer is to go, oh my gosh, Lord, this is a mess. Or or I'm a mess. Or my friend's a mess, and to have those friends being able to kind of speak to God too, and be part of that churn, that dynamic of love between people and God. So, one of the things that often comes about is a conversation about, well, um, how much should I pray? And Paul in the scriptures says, we should pray without ceasing. We should um, kind of look for ways just to be in constant prayer all the time. Now, some people over the centuries have really kind of taken that literally in some ways, like I'm going to be in prayer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, pray without ceasing. Um, but how does that work and how does that look? Well, a lot of people have had to kind of think through that. Some people memorize prayers. Some people use kind of a prayerful attitude in the way that they engage folks. When I was younger, I had a hour and 15-minute or so commute one way, and I did that for 8 years. And it was it was a lot of and some of you Northern Virginian folks know the joy of those long commutes, but mine was in the country at least, and I would get in the car and I would pray with my eyes open. There's this whole business of you're supposed to bow your head and close your eyes, and that's one form of prayer, but sometimes the best prayers are kind of eyes wide open, and kind of seeing the people around us, or seeing those circumstances, or watching the changes in things that um, when we apprehend, when we see or hear in the course of that conversation with God, that really kind of even opens up some more doors. And so I would pray for the people that lived in the houses as I would pass them by. Or I would be, in a meeting or in a crowd, and I would see something ugly going on. maybe you've never had that experience, but something ugly going on and thinking, okay, I'm going to pray for you right now. And I'm not stomping. I'm not like putting my hand on them. I'm praying with my eyes open, like, Lord, bless this person who is really struggling right now. Bless the people that's on the receiving end of all this. Bless me that I don't, take too much of this into my own heart and kind of create some woundedness. So, how we do this prayer uh, can take different forms. And one of the things that many people do is they make sure that they pray at certain times. Now, we as a family, we've prayed before meals, and they're not elaborate prayers. And I know that some people joke about, oh, preacher's going to pray, and it's going to be 15 minutes before we're able to eat. And we've kind of become much more loving, and I think God understands and knows. So oftentimes it's thank you, Lord, for the gift of this food and for all of this day. And please help us and help those that are in need and help those we love. Amen. And that's a very simple prayer, very frequently uttered by me. My kids have their own kind of version of that prayer. Now, that's good. That's a prayer of thanksgiving before meals, and some people make that part of their routine daily activity. Um, Adam Hamilton, in his material for this, suggests that you use your hand. Oh, can you see that? That you think about the 5 digits on your hand. Most of us have five, and that you think of the thumb as the first prayer that you would offer in the day. So it's like me. I kind of, as soon as my feet touch the floor, I'm offering the prayer of thank you. And then Adam suggests that the next three fingers are a reminder for the three meals that we have. I'm I'm going to remember three meals, you know. Um, maybe maybe a fourth meal in there somewhere. And some days, there's two meals involved, but first morning prayer, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then the pinky, of course, is that night prayer that as you're ending the day, as you're preparing for sleep or rest, or ever how that process in your day works, that you spend time saying thank you, and you remember those things that you're really thankful for, and you give to God those things that you're worried about, and you ask God for a very good night's sleep and a great next day. You know the words, you know your needs and the specific things that are going to be important. So uh, perhaps that's a good way for you to approach that. Some people pray the Lord's Prayer at least, hourly, or maybe 4 or 5 times a day. Like I have a friend who is a very devout Korean woman, who would set her clock, the alarm on her phone, and it would go off at a little bit past the hour. And what she would do is she would pray the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and power and the glory forever. Amen. That took what? A minute? Yeah. What would it be to just, routinely, maybe on the hour, maybe a little past the hour, to routinely just take a moment, even silently, not even out loud, but just, centering yourself enough to connect with God in that way. I would pray that prayer too in my driving. I was driving with my eyes open. I would say that prayer too. And the thing about that is, there's things that jump out about that. Lead me not into temptation. Um, Forgive me my trespasses. I'm all about forgiving me, as I, let go of those things where people have wounded me or trespassed against me. Oh, do I have to do that? What does it mean that God's name is hallowed? What does it mean that God's kingdom would come on earth? So, all of that is just real rich material. It's right there for you. You memorized it probably as a kid, and it's right there for you to kind of come back to and then be in conversation with. Now, sometimes you need a little bit more formal set of words, and we have some of those. In fact, if you look at our bulletin, oftentimes there's language in the bulletin, language provided for you, or there will be prayer language in the soul break sometimes. There is a really fine book written by a buddy called The Methodist Book of Daily Prayer by Matt Miosky. It has some great material in there for reflection all throughout the year. It's kind of similar to the Upper Room. The Upper Room, for example, is a great devotional guide. And one thing that I started using a couple years ago that I absolutely love is a set of books called Every Moment Holy. There's a little teeny tiny version. That's kind of a pocket edition of all of that. And I gave a copy of this to the folks on our staff at Sterling for Christmas. And I am telling you tonight that I have two copies right here that are prizes that will go to folks who are randomly selected from the folks who are on this broadcast right now. So, two of you tonight are walking away with an awesome resource that I think you're going to love. And we can make available how you can purchase these. They're not very expensive at all. But two of you are walking away with prizes. You'll be randomly selected after we get off the call here, and I will. Reach out to you and let you know that you won. It's going to be so great. Now, one final thing is there is a deep practice of praying in silence, and there's lots and lots that we can talk about that, but I'm going to just kind of set that aside for another conversation. But silent prayer has a way of really challenging, of course, sitting in silence. How do I do this? But it also has a great potential to to steal, to still our souls and help us to listen and engage God in very deep, engage ourselves in very deep and formative ways. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me. We could talk about that, but I'll save that for another conversation at some point. Well, listen, I am going to kind of draw to a close here our time together. I want to give you an opportunity to shout out a couple of questions here if you would like to. So think about those questions that you would like to put in front of us, put in front of me. I'll do my best to answer those things. While you're thinking about that and typing in your thoughts, let me show you just this brief, wonderful musical reflection. It's based upon a poem written by St. Francis of Assisi. And so watch this. I'll come right back and we'll take questions.
creatures of our God and King, lift up your voice and with us sing. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Thou burning with golden beam, thou silver moon with softer gleam. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Thou rushing wind that art so strong, ye clouds that sail in heaven long. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Thou rising morning, praise, rejoice. Ye light of evening, find a voice. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Thou flowing water, pure and clear, make music for thy Lord to hear. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Thou fire so masterful and bright, that gives to man both warmth and light. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
I just love that and hope that you found it helpful. I've not seen questions in the comment line, and I totally get that. So, no sweat there. I've answered all of your questions. No, I, of course, have not. But as you have questions, great. As you even struggle with some of these things, fantastic, because that's how we grow, right? That's how we engage things and move forward. Sharon just popped in, reminds me that my family would sing the doxology as a prayer before meals, which is beautiful. I, I love that. I love that. The doxology can really just kind of like open up a lot of good. Well, listen, friends, thank you so much for being here tonight. God bless you as you go forward into your week. I hope to see you on Sunday. And most certainly, I hope to see you next Tuesday. If you enjoyed your time here, let your friends know. And smash that like button, or kind of hit the bell, or whatever you're supposed to do uh, in, in the interface that you're using. That would be great. Just a quick word of thanks to the Church of the Resurrection and Chair Church for the materials that we have been using for this series. The film that I just showed you was by the Work of the People, which you can find their stuff, their fabulous stuff, at theworkofthepeople.com. And Sharon Rosenfeld has been behind the scenes a lot of this and did that awesome bumper at the beginning of our time together. So thank you so much. Thank you for being part of Sterling. And of course, this is brought to you by the people of Sterling United Methodist Church. God bless you. See, check this out. Let's see. Wait. One more thing. Green screen. Gotta love that. Take care. See you soon.